Before I begin, I'd ask unanimous consent that two articles be placed in the record. One that is entitled Guatemalan Orders New Travel Social Curbs as Virus Surges in that country. The second one, Shizeki stands by having employer vaccine illegal immigrants get a pass.
Without objection.
Mr. Chairman, since the last amendment was voted down, it makes this one all the more appropriate. Mr. Chairman, as you can see, this simple common sense amendment says if the President is to go forward and push and shove at the Constitution and tear at the very fabric of liberty for American citizens, requiring that firms that have more than 100 employees all be vaccinated or face a fine of over $13,000, require that members of the military be vaccinated or be discharged and lose their retirement benefits, require CBP officers be vaccinated when in fact we do not vaccinate people who are brought into this country, and let me rephrase that, who come to this country illegally and are admitted, when in fact we're releasing them into communities, when in fact 35 Customs and Border Patrol officers have died from COVID, when in fact these officers, just so far, 9,800 Border Patrol officers and employees have tested positive for COVID, many of them directly the result of having to come in close contact with the massive hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of undocumented workers who come, undocumented persons who come into this country and are released into our society, often without notice to the communities. The idea that they would be released without being vaccinated is simply something we cannot understand. And Mr. Chairman, as you consider the inevitability of your orders to not accept any amendments, I would ask that you take a good look and ask the question, how could you be so inconsistent on the President's orders and ability when it comes to people who are being released into the community, particularly as the earlier article I put in, Guatemala is one of the major countries delivering undocumented individuals to us, is in fact surging. We would not, in the ordinary course, allow someone to fly into this country untested and unvaccinated from Guatemala if they came legally, and yet under current law and current orders, that is exactly what is going to happen, not to a few hundred, but to over 1 million people who will be admitted this year based on the current trend and the current paroles. Mr. Chairman, this is common sense. It will not take down the bill. It is completely within the intent and jurisdiction of this legislation. Just like the last one, it will be ruled by the parliamentarian to be germane and sufficient. But unlike the last one, we're actually going with the President and with his intent, but trying to make it at least consistent for the 1 million+ people who will enter our country uninvited and be released into our communities. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.